So here's my important point from the point of view of you. Every person in this room, individually, is capable of being better, stronger, faster, more competent, more capable on the basis of these brain plasticity principles. Everybody that you know has that capacity, right? And you have the capacity to drive your brain in a positive direction in all kinds of ways, in an empowering, enriching direction to improve its operational capacity. This science is leading to the creation of a new domain of medicine. It's going to be the application of intensive strategies, training-based strategies, that are going to drive the brain, you could say, using its natural plasticity resources back into positive directions. And you're going to see this acknowledged more and more in the movement domain and in the cognitive domain as medicine. She sees the brain in this more complete and holistic way. And actually in the domain of therapy, this is not all of that common. People commonly think of movement as movement and mental operations as mental operations, and in between the two is some kind of giant canyon. It's just not true. The brain, in controlling thought, is using exactly the same processes it's using in controlling movement. You could say one is action that's never externalized. The other is action that is externalized. And in fact, the machinery is one and the same. The machinery is operating by the same principles. You've got the same basic neurology that's governing them. Now, you don't think of them in that way. You tend to think of one class of operations as being, quote, mental, and in the never-never land. But in the same way, in the control of thought, you know you're going somewhere. And that somewhere is a progression that's being controlled by your brain in a beautiful, elaborate, or simplistic, or degraded way. Just as in movement, right? And fundamentally, nobody told the brain these were different. The difference is where they lead in the neurology, and one leads to action, and the other leads to thought and to ideation. Commonly, in an older person, you're not using your learning machinery very much. And you're basically primarily operating on the basis of things you learned to do when you were a kid, and that's what you're spending most of your time doing. You're not really acquiring new skills, right? So your learning machinery is slowly dying off. Now, in order for it to sustain itself, it has what are called trophic factors, or growth factors, which are produced and released as a function of how heavily in the schedule of your day they're activated. So they aren't getting much, there's not much release, not much production of these factors in an older brain that's not exercising itself in new learning. And by new learning, I mean not just adding content to your dictionary, but also actually developing new ability. So I think this is why our side of this equation in domains like Anat's, and this is one of the reasons I was so happy to read her book and read the wisdom in it, because I think that it could be the basis of establishment, and contribute to the establishment of a still more refined school about the use of really intelligent principles that are consistent with our science in recovering limitations in movement and performance in brains and in individuals. You know, I think we're the future. That's what I think.